Kala lived on Earth now. She was not from here. Her home was a far planet called Velmora. Velmora was a place of science and logic, where feelings were often quiet and decisions were made by careful thought. Kala was different. She had come to Earth to live with her husband, Tom. Tom was human. He seemed simple, worked as a mechanic in a small town. His hands were rough, but kind. He did not speak much about his past. To Kala, he was quiet but warm. He made pancakes every Sunday morning, and he laughed at her jokes even when they were bad. Kala liked this life. It was calm and full of small joys. But sometimes she wondered about Tom's silence. Her friends on Velmora teased her. "Why marry a human? They're simple," they said. "You deserve someone with power and knowledge." But Kala only smiled. Tom was different. He listened, he cared, and he made her laugh. One bright morning, Kala decided to clean the basement. It was an old house with creaky floors and dusty corners. Tom did not mind. He was outside fixing his old car, humming softly. Kala held a broom and swept away cobwebs. As she moved an old shelf, she saw something strange behind it, a small metal case hidden in the wall. The case was old and locked. It looked like it was made of strong metal, cold to the touch. Curious, Kala tried to open it, but the lock did not budge. She wondered how long it had been there. Did Tom know about it? When Tom came inside, Kala showed him the case. "Do you know what this is?" she asked. Tom looked at it with quiet eyes and then said, "No, I have never seen it." Kala felt a small thrill of mystery. Maybe Tom had secrets after all. She decided to try to open it herself. Using her Velmoron tools, she worked carefully. The lock clicked open. Inside, wrapped in cloth, was a sword. The blade was long and thin, shining with a soft blue light. The handle was carved with strange symbols. Kala touched it gently. It felt warm, alive somehow. She did not know what to think. "Tom," she said, "where did this come from?" Tom looked surprised but calm. He took the sword carefully. "Is ... an old thing," he said slowly. "Something from a long time ago." Kala waited for more, but Tom said no more. That night, the sword glowed brighter in the quiet basement. Kala watched it, feeling a mix of wonder and worry. Why had Tom hidden it? What was the story behind it? The next morning, Tom held the sword and whispered words in a language Kala did not understand. The sword floated in the air for a moment, then settled back into his hand. Kala's heart raced. Her simple husband was not so simple after all. The morning sun shone softly through the windows of their small house. Kala sat at the kitchen table, her eyes fixed on the sword resting quietly on the wooden surface. It still glowed faintly, a blue light shimmering along the metal. She reached out, wanting to touch it again. But Tom gently stopped her hand. "That sword is not just a decoration," he said quietly, his voice calm but serious. "It means much more than you think." Kala looked at him surprised. "Then why didn't you tell me before?" Tom sighed. "I wanted to live a simple life. After everything I've been through, I wanted to be just ... Tom." She studied his face. For a moment, she saw something deeper behind his quiet eyes, a shadow from the past. "Tell me," she said softly. "I want to understand." Tom nodded and sat down beside her. He held the sword carefully, like it was both friend. "In memory, this sword," he began, "is very old. It was made in a time long before Earth was like it is now. A time when humans traveled the stars, part of a larger galaxy full of many worlds." Kala's eyes widened. She had studied galactic history, but many believed humans were too young to have a true place among the stars. Tom smiled faintly. "We were part of something great." "I was once a member of the Starbound Keepers." "Starbound Keepers?" Kala asked. "They were a group of humans who protected peace and knowledge. We did not fight wars with weapons like guns or bombs. Instead, we used knowledge, wisdom, and sometimes ... this sword." He raised the blade slightly. "It is called Velion. It is not for battle. It is a key." Kala frowned. "A key? To what?" To the galactic archives, Tom said. A great store of knowledge lost when the old alliance of worlds fell apart. Velian can unlock it. Kala was amazed. Why did you hide it here? On Earth. Tom looked away for a moment. Because the galaxy is not safe now. Some old enemies want to use that knowledge to control others, not to help. I wanted to keep Velian safe, and I wanted to live quietly. Kala reached for his hand, but now the sword glows. It is waking up. What does that mean? Tom looked serious. This means the past is calling me back. And soon, we may not be safe here. The words felt heavy in the room. Kala understood that their peaceful life might be ending. That afternoon, Kala decided to learn more about the sword. She took her Velmoron tablet and scanned the blade. Symbols along its edge were ancient. They were written in archaic galactic, a language no longer spoken, but once common in the Old Alliance. The tablet screen lit up with translations: Keeper, Light, Truth, Memory. Kala was fascinated. This sword is more than metal and light. It carries meaning. Tom nodded. It carries a promise. That night, while the house was quiet, Kala heard a soft hum coming from the basement. She went down to see. The sword floated above a pedestal Tom had set up, glowing brighter than before. Tom stood nearby, speaking in that old language again.
Oh.
The glow pulsed with the rhythm of his voice. Kala felt a strange warmth fill the room. Suddenly the sword's light shifted, showing images. In the air, visions of stars, ships, and a great library of knowledge floating in space. Tom watched the visions with a calm but distant look. Velian shows me the way, he said softly. We have a mission, to protect this knowledge, to bring peace back. Kala's heart raced. She knew their quiet days were over. The next morning, Kala and Tom visited an old library in town. Tom wanted to meet an old friend, someone who might help them understand the sword's power at the library. An elderly man named Joran greeted them warmly. He was a keeper of stories and secrets. When Joran saw the sword, his eyes shone with surprise and respect. You carry Velian, he said. The sword of peace and wisdom has been lost for centuries. Kala smiled. We just found it hidden. In our basement, Joran nodded slowly. Tom was once a keeper. You carry a great legacy, young man. Tom's eyes met Kala's. He looked more open than before. He's no longer hiding. Joran showed them old books and star charts, maps of ancient Earth and beyond. He told stories of the starbound keepers and their mission to keep knowledge safe from those who would misuse it. Kala listened, amazed by the depth of human history. She had always thought humans were simple. Now she saw they were much more. Before they left, Joran gave them a warning. Be careful. Not everyone wants knowledge to be free. Some want power. As they walked home, Kala held Tom's hand tightly. Your past is part of who you are, she said, and I will stand with you. Tom smiled, feeling lighter together. They faced the unknown future, ready to discover what secrets the sword held, and what their role would be in a galaxy waiting to remember humanity's true place. The days after their visit to the library felt strange. Kala noticed the sky more carefully. Satellites blinked out in the distance, and strange lights moved silently above the town. Animals behaved nervously, as if they sensed something unseen. The peaceful life she loved seemed to be slipping away. Tom was quiet more than usual. He spent long hours studying the sword, speaking to it in the old language, Velian glowing softly in his hands. Kala wanted to help, but did not know how. One afternoon, a message arrived, hidden inside a book from Joran's collection. It was a coded note, written in symbols only the starbound keepers could understand. It read, "They know where he is." Kala's heart jumped. Who knows? Who is coming? Tom looked grave. The Myriads, a rogue faction of ancient beings. Seek the lost weapon, the sword. Kala had never heard of the Myriads before. Tom explained slowly. Long ago, during the last galactic era, the Myriads were guardians of knowledge and peace, like us. But power changed them. They wanted to control everything, not protect it. The alliance broke apart, and many worlds forgot. The truth. Kala's eyes widened. They want the sword to control the galaxy? Tom nodded. Yes. If they get Velian, they will use it to force others, not to help. Calla felt a chill. Their quiet life was under threat. That night, Tom and Calla sat together under the stars. The sword lay between them, glowing softly. We can't run, Tom said. We must face them, but not with weapons. With words, with truth. Calla reached out and took his hand. I am with you. Days later, as they prepared to leave town for a safer place, a group of visitors arrived, strange beings from distant worlds. They did not carry weapons, but had serious faces. One stepped forward. She was tall, with silver skin and eyes like shining stars. We come as friends, she said. The Galactic Council has sent us to warn you.
How?
Tom looked at her. Carefully warn us about what? The myriads are returning, she said. They seek Velian. You must protect it and yourselves. Calla felt relief mixed with fear. Help was coming, but danger was close. The visitors explained that the myriads wanted to find the stone gateway, an ancient place on Earth, under ice, where Velian's power could be fully unlocked. Calla asked, if the myriads find the gateway first, what happens? The silver-skinned woman looked sad. The knowledge could be lost forever, or used for control. Tom stood taller. Then we must reach the gateway before them. Calla nodded. Together. The visitors offered guidance and protection. Tom and Calla felt hope for the first time in weeks before they left. Tom's old friend, Joran, gave them a final gift, a small, glowing orb that held a message from the past. Use this when the time is right, Joran said. Will help. You speak with the myriads. As Tom and Calla prepared for their journey to the gateway, Calla looked at her husband with new eyes. He seemed simple, but now she knew he was part of something much bigger, a story of stars, peace, and ancient promises, and she would stand by his side, no matter what came next. The journey to Iceland was quiet but full of meaning. Calla and Tom traveled by plane and then by rugged vehicles over rocky paths covered with snow. The cold air was sharp, different from the soft warmth of their small town. But both of them felt excitement and a little fear. Tom carried the sword Velian carefully, wrapped in cloth. Calla held her Velmaron tablet, ready to scan and learn more if needed. They reached a glacier, huge, frozen mountain with cracks like veins. Beneath the glacier lay the hidden entrance to the stone gateway, an ancient place built by the old Galactic Alliance. Tom looked at the icy wall. This is it, he said. The gateway has been waiting. Calla nodded, her breath visible in the cold air. Together, they found a narrow path that led underground. The walls were smooth and cold, shining with blue crystals that lit there. Way as they walked deeper, Tom told Calla stories of the old times, how humans once connected many worlds through peace and knowledge. He spoke of the starbound keepers, not as warriors, but as protectors of truth. Calla listened, amazed at the history hidden beneath the surface of her quiet husband. At the end of the path, they reached a large chamber. The walls were covered with ancient symbols and pictures of stars, ships, people reaching out in friendship. In the center stood a pedestal, shaped like a tree with glowing branches. Tom placed Velian on it. The sword began to float. It glowed brighter and brighter until the whole chamber was filled with light. Calla shielded her eyes, feeling warmth and power in the air. Then the light shifted. It formed shapes, images of distant stars, floating libraries, and ships traveling faster than light. Tom spoke the true name of the sword Velian in the old tongue. The sword responded, sending waves of energy through the room. Calla felt knowledge flow into her mind, visions of ancient wisdom and peace. Agreements made between worlds long ago. The sword was not a weapon to hurt, but a key to unlock forgotten knowledge. It held the memory of the galactic archives, a library of all the wisdom that once connected many civilizations. Tom looked at Calla with tears in his eyes. This is why I hid it. The galaxy forgot peace. But it is not too late. Suddenly, a soft sound echoed through the chamber. It was the voice of the myriads calling from afar. We must be quick, Tom said. They will come, Calla nodded, ready to stand by his side. Together, they used the sword to unlock more secrets from the gateway maps, star charts, and messages of hope. The journey was just beginning. The cold wind whipped around the mountain as Calla and Tom stood at the edge of the stone gateway chamber. The glowing sword Velian floated gently above the pedestal, its blue light casting soft shadows on the icy walls. The air was thick with anticipation. They knew the myriads were coming. But this time, Tom was ready not with weapons or force, but with the power of words and truth. Far above, in the sky, a group of strange ships appeared. They shimmered with colors Calla had never seen, shapes, shifting like liquid stars. The myriads had arrived. Calla gripped Tom's hand tightly. "What will you do?" she asked. Tom smiled gently. "I will remind them who we once were, that peace is stronger than power." The myriad ships landed silently. From them stepped tall figures, their skin shimmering silver, and their eyes full of old sorrow and anger. They did not carry weapons, but wore robes that marked their ancient order. The leader of the myriads stepped forward and spoke in a voice that echoed through the chamber. "Tom of Earth, you carry Velian, the lost sword of our order. Why do you hide? Why do you flee from your destiny?" Tom held Velian firmly. The sword glowed brighter, its symbols shining like stars. "I do not flee," Tom said. I wait. I wait for the galaxy to remember what we once stood for: peace, knowledge, and unity." Calla watched as Tom raised the sword. Instead of a weapon of war, it became a beacon of light. It played back images, visions of the galactic archives, of worlds working together, of old treaties signed in trust. The myriads' faces softened. Their leader lowered his head. "We have lost our way," he said quietly. "We sought control, not peace. The sword reminds us of what we forgot." Tom nodded. "It is not too late to change, to restore what was broken." Calla stepped forward. "We humans may seem simple, but our history is rich with hope and courage. We were mediators among the stars once. We can be again." The myriads spoke among themselves. Then their leader said, "We will leave this place. We will seek a new path." The ships rose silently, disappearing into the sky. Tom turned to Calla, his eyes full of relief. The sword's power is not to fight, but to heal. As the light from Velian faded, a new message appeared in the chamber call from the Galactic Council. They invited Tom and Calla to join a circle of peacekeepers to help rebuild the Alliance of Worlds. Calla smiled at Tom. "Your secret was not your past," she said. "It was waiting for the right time to shine." Tom laughed softly. "You, my dear, have been my light all along." Together, they stepped out of the gateway, ready to take their place among the stars once more.